If I am to tell you I make a living simply by doing what I love, I'm not lying. But I also wake up every day debt-free in my parents' house. I don't have to commute 20 kilometers to work every day. I literally got paid to learn the same English lessons over and over again. Plus, I have a rich cougar catering to my every whim. Okay, the last one, just some silly rumor I overheard from some colleagues, to whom I really want to say this. You f***ers just insulted my integrity as a man, a son, and a teacher. But thank you. No, seriously, I never thought someone would think I am visually qualified for that. You guys are too much. So you may have noticed the recent blow-up of inspirational contents on social media. You know, the same regurgitated from zero to hero stories from people with questionable credibility on TikTok. Don't get me wrong. I believe if someone works hard every day towards their goal, they are fully entitled to sharing their stories and taking pride in their achievements. What I am not okay with is when people start to get preachy. Then they would start to offer super assertive advice based exclusively on their personal experience. The assertiveness usually gives the impression that these people actually had way less leverage during their journey. That it all comes down to how freaking amazing and perseverant they are. Now, I don't think most people intentionally lie about how they succeeded, but when recalling the past, people tend to remember a warped version of what actually happened. So they simply omit the details they believe are unimportant, or just don't think are the contributing factors to their success. Things like family background, economic situation, genetics, or even just luck in general all play a major role in one's success, but they are oftentimes ignored. Sometimes it's the tellers who do the ignoring. Like, for example, an attractive person downplaying the role of their appearance. But sometimes it's the listeners who selectively pick out part of the stories they want to hear and end up misinterpreting every success story as, you know, somebody did X to achieve their goal, so all I have to do to solve my problem is to do the same thing. I think this way of thinking is not only shallow, but also potentially dangerous. Take Bill Gates, for example. He's a billionaire who dropped out of university. Everybody knows that. But if you think he was just an ordinary dropout who climbed to the top through sheer hard work, you are only looking at the comforting part of the picture. It's really reassuring to believe as a middle-class member, we're always just one lucky break away from achieving our dream, as long as we put in constant effort. But in reality, people like Bill Gates and most celebrities had way more up their sleeves than just a melodramatic backstory. Like, his mother was the chairwoman of a financial company, and his grandfather was the president of the Federal Bank. Obviously, his inheritance would have gone to waste if it hadn't been for his effort. But the opposite is also true. Even if you manage to do exactly what you thought he did, and you don't get the same outcome, that doesn't mean you're inferior to him. It just means that maybe you don't have the same network that he had, considering that his granny was, again, the freaking bank president. I'm not trying to discredit everyone at the top by attributing their success to mere luck. I just want to prove that the oversimplification of people's success stories is counterproductive to the whole achieving success thing. The reason why I think we keep buying those stories is that they kind of takes us away from the harsh reality that, statistically speaking, successful parents tend to raise successful children, and that we are most likely to die in the same social status that we were born into, statistically. I guess that's also why I tend to be a little, reserved when asked to give advice on English learning or just about anything. Actually, I have no problem sharing my personal experience with people, but I just can't tell people how they should interpret my story. Most of the time, people are intrigued by how I can make English look so easy. So when they're asking for advice, they're actually expecting some sort of specific tips that can make things easier for them. The thing is, even when we have the same how, we can never have the same why. For example, if I am to tell you that I improved my English ability mostly by making these videos, and you try to do the same so that we have the same how. But my why is that I have tested and tried this method to best suit my need and situation. In the meantime, your why is simply that, this method has been employed by someone that you decided to trust. And when you cannot bring yourself to follow what you think are simple and smart advice, they end up perpetuating your insecurity.
making you feel even more desperate.
There are two things I think people should be hearing more. One, no matter what it is, it's never easy. Not for everyone. The people who claim it was easy are either underestimating their advantages or overestimating themselves. And two, even when you try to follow someone else's footstep, you're never motivated the same way as they are. If you want to improve your English just to make your job more convenient, you don't need to achieve the same level as the guy whose life literally depends on it.
We're living in a time when everyone is given the same pedestal to voice their opinion, which is arguably a good thing. The only catch is that people don't actually need any credentials or qualifications to call themselves experts and start offering advice on the internet. Of course, it's impossible for us to tell people to be careful when offering advice or saying something that could be interpreted as such. But it's possible for us to be extra prudent when listening to people.
That doesn't mean being complacent or dismissing people's hard work. It only means viewing successful people as multifaceted, realistic individuals who are still prone to biases, to learn from them without being obfuscated by the glamorous facade. At the end of the day, I think achieving success and guiding others to success are not the same thing.
And that's it for today's episode. I know this is a longer than usual video, so thank you so much for staying to the end. Now before we leave, I just want to show you the quote that inspired this entire ramble.
I want to fuck an anime girl. Real girls are so boring. Anime women have titties bigger than any woman in real.
You have your way. I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist.